Jai Hind, a brief update from Team MND The Futures. Now, Sri Lanka and Pakistan planned a joint naval exercise in the in the waters near Trincomalee, a strategically important port city on Sri Lanka's northeastern coast. Now, this was part of their regular military cooperation as the two countries have friendly ties and often conduct such drills. However, India raised concerns about this exercise and Sri Lanka decided to cancel it a few weeks before April 2025. There was no official statement from Sri Lanka or Pakistan about the cancellation. However, India's concerns were shared with Sri Lanka before Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Colombo in April 2025. Now, during this visit, India and Sri Lanka signed a defense agreement to strengthen military ties and a tripartite deal along with United Arab Emirates to develop the region as an energy hub was also talked about. So, India is heavily involved in the region, helping with energy projects like oil tank farms to support Sri Lanka's economy and energy security. Now, why it matters? Now, the region has got its importance. It is a key location in the Indian Ocean with a natural harbor that can influence the control over the Bay of Bengal and nearby areas. For India, it's critical for maritime security as it helps to monitor and even to protect the region. So India's concerns were India was certainly worried about the Pakistan and Sri Lanka naval drill because Pakistan's navy works closely with China's navy and India fears that Pakistan's warships in the region could increase China's influence in that particular region, especially since Chinese ships docking in Sri Lankan ports were also in 22 and 23 have caused a lot of diplomatic tensions before. So India and Sri Lanka ties, when we talk about, India has been building stronger ties with Sri Lanka, especially to counter China's growing presence in the Indian Ocean. Now the cancellation of this shows Sri Lanka prioritizing its relationship with India, particularly after the recent defense and energy agreements. Now, Pakistan and Sri Lanka relations, despite the cancellation, Pakistan and Sri Lanka have a history of military cooperation, including armed support during Sri Lanka's civil war and even helping during the 1971 India Pakistan war. Now, the cancellation doesn't end their ties but certainly reflects Sri Lanka balancing act between India and Pakistan. Now, when we just see this cancellation and when I do my personal analysis, it certainly highlights India's influence in the region and its focus on keeping the Indian Ocean secured from the rivals like China. Now, this region is a sensitive spot for India because of its strategic value, and India doesn't want Pakistan or China to gain a foothold there. By raising concerns, India signaled that it sees the region as part of its security zone. Now, Sri Lanka's decision to cancel the drill shows it values its growing partnership with India, especially since India is helping with major projects in that region. However, Sri Lanka also wants to maintain good relations with Pakistan, so it avoided making the cancellation maybe public to prevent this upsetting Islamabad. Now, this event also reflects the bigger geopolitical game in the Indian Ocean where India and China are competing for influence. India is strengthening ties with neighbors like Sri Lanka to limit China's reach, while Pakistan, as China's allies, sometimes tests India's boundaries. So the cancellation is small but significant win for India in its regional power struggle and certainly sends a strong message to the region. Now, when we see the China's influence in Sri Lanka, Pakistan or India region, China has been increasing its presence in the Indian Ocean region, particularly around Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and India, which affects the geopolitical dynamics. Now, what are the India's concerns? Certainly, number one is the maritime security, China's growing naval presence in the region, in the Indian Ocean through ports, and threatening India's dominance in the region. India fears China could use these ports for military purposes. Second is the regional rivalry. India sees China's influence in Sri Lanka and Pakistan as part of a plan to limit India's power. Chinese ships near the city or even Sri Lankan ports, it heighten these kind of worries. Now, when we have to counter China, India is responding by strengthening ties with Sri Lanka, example, defense and energy deals, and other neighboring countries like even Maldives and Mauritius to counter China's influence. So that's all from our side on this story. We'll keep you updated with the upcoming details. Do subscribe to our channel and do let us know what you think about the story. Jai Hind and Jai Bharat.